I really appreciate you joining me today, and this first story comes from London. Police executed 3 search warrants on industrial units in New Road, Rainham. The intelligence-led operation occurred on the 24th of January and resulted in the seizure of 300 cannabis plants that the police estimate to be valued at £300,000. Also inside the factory as well was a loaded AK47 assault rifle, and they also seized a pistol and a converted revolver. In addition, live ammunition, spent cartridges, money, 2 crossbows, and Class B drugs were also seized. A 63-year-old man was arrested at the scene on suspicion of drug offences, and he was taken to a London police station but later released on bail. Detective Sergeant Owen Morgan said, "This is a successful operation by the Area Drugs Focus Desk, and this was a great collaborative teamwork effort across the borough, in particular to the Violence Suppression Unit, and they would continue to try to arrest and take down organised crime gangs. This man must have really wanted to protect his cannabis plants, or this was a very organised setup on an industrial scale, and this is something we're seeing a lot more of lately. As I showed viewers when I went to a £3 million abandoned building that had been converted into a factory in Birmingham only a matter of weeks ago. Upon arrival, I found that the building was open, so I was able to go inside and document how it looked and the condition that the plants were grown in. But I've never covered a case where they found an AK-47 inside a factory. So maybe this is a one-off, or maybe this is the sign of a trend. But I definitely will follow these stories and keep you updated on it. In some other news coming from London, 4 men have been jailed for firearm offences after guns were seized, and also a taser and 60 rounds of ammunition. The following men were sentenced at Woolwich Crown Court on the 28th of January after being found guilty on the 13th of January. Ahmet Budak from Hackney was sentenced to 7 years and 9 months. Billy Flynn from Bexley was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months for possession of firearms with intent to endanger life. Hayden Nurden from Dagenham was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months. Blaine Nurden of No Fixed Abode was sentenced to 12 years and 3 months. Hassan Akinci from Hackney was found guilty of possession of a firearm, but will be sentenced at a later date. The court heard that on the 17th of September 2020, police had cause to conduct observations on a business premise in Hackney in the E9 area. They witnessed a brown paper bag being placed by Akinci into the boot of a car driven by Budak. Armed police followed the car into Gale Street in Dagenham, where it was stopped, and in the boot of the vehicle, officers found 2 brown paper bags containing 4 firearms, 40 rounds of 9mm ammunition. They were marked as Sig Sauer P22-6 handguns. Budak and Akinci were detained and arrested for firearm possession at the scene. Officers returned to Hayland Road shortly after, which was an address that was linked to Budak. Following a search of the premises, they found a Glock firearm and 20 rounds of ammunition, and also 9mm ammunition hidden in the kitchen. They also searched an address that was linked to Akinci on King Edward Road, E9, where they found a taser in a bedroom. All of the handguns and ammunition were submitted to laboratories to find out if they were viable and capable of firing lethal bullets. Officers identified Blaine Nurden through analysis of mobile phone records, and he was the one that arranged the deal from prison at the time of the offence. He was serving an existing prison sentence for firearm possession and also drug offences. CCTV footage also showed his brother Hayden Nurden on CCTV buying mobile phone top-ups that were used to arrange the deal. Flynn was one of the customers for a firearm. From mobile phone records, police discovered that Budak had programmed into an application in his phone to take him to an address in Dagenham. This is where the Nurden family lived. And on the 18th of September 2020, Budak and Akinci were charged with firearm offences and remanded in custody. Shortly after the 13th of October 2020, Hayden Nurden was arrested, and he was subsequently charged with conspiracy to possess firearms with intent to endanger life. On the 15th of December 2020, Flynn was charged with conspiracy to possess firearms with intent to endanger life also, and Blaine Nurden was charged on the 16th of March 2021. Detective Louis Sanderson from the Metropolitan Crime Team said, "The criminal use of firearms has tragic consequences in communities that we see every single day. The work of the detectives in this case took these guns off the street and no doubt saved lives." And this is an example of how the quality of guns is improving as well. A lot of the time, the guns that you'd find several years ago were World War II revolvers that you'd have to use different types of ammunition to shave down and wedge it inside the guns. But nowadays there is more semi-automatics, ammunition that is designed for the gun, and this shows that it's becoming more sophisticated, and that also means that there is more chance that people will die from these guns due to the fact that you'll have less misfires or malfunctions. So I really appreciate you joining me for this brief update, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios, and send your stories to news@scarcitystudios.com. Peace.